Hello everybody, I'm Graro Brown. I'm a T-Rex VTuber, amateur paleontologist, and I'm also a ginormous Zoids fan. And today, this is going to be the first of a potential video series what I like to call Zoids Analysis, where I analyze Zoids and tell you what kind of animal they are based off of. And because I am a T-Rex VTuber, I thought what better way to start off this series with an analysis of my favorite animal, not only my favorite animal, but my favorite type of Zoids, and that being... Yep, that's right. We are going to be going over the many Tyrannosaur species of Zoids in Zoids. Now, you're probably asking me, there cannot be that many Tyrannosaurs in Zoids, right? Well, I'm glad you asked about that because, yes, there are many species of Tyrannosaurs in Zoids, 3 to be exact. Now, a lot of them are also labeled as T-Rex, ranging from, well, just generic dinosaurs because, well, they kind of have to go somewhere, and just to say dinosaur really is kind of a broad spectrum, and let's face it, the Death Soar already kind of called that one, to, please do not sue us, Toho, this is totally legally not Mechagodzilla. We swear to God, it is totally not Mechagodzilla. Now, if we are going to start somewhere with the Tyrannosaur line, we'll probably start with... yes. And what a better way to start off with than with the classic Genosaur line. As you can tell, this one's pretty easy. The Genosaur line, which includes Genosaur itself, Psychogenosaur, and also the Genobreaker and its many variants, are all based off of the classic Tyrannosaurus Rex. Tyrannosaurus Rex was an apex predator found in North America during the Maastrichtian formation of the late Cretaceous period. Basically, the final days of the dinosaurs. Now, moving on to my favorite Zoid of all time, the Berserk Fuhrer and its line, which includes the guy Ryuki, are also based off of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And it's also my favorite Zoid in this entire franchise. I have like 6 of these model kits, I might be just a little bit biased here. Now, moving on to Zoid's Genesis, the Biotyranno is from Zoid's Genesis, and like all the others, they are based off of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, which also includes the Zoid's Generations variant, known as the Mother Bio. However, unlike all the other Zoids that I just showed you, Biotyranno kind of stands out a little bit because it is more or less based off of a Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton, and is a little bit more accurate to how a T-Rex pretty much looks, minus the longer arms. Now, bear with me here, we're almost done with all the T-Rexes, I swear. Moving on to the wild line, the Death Rex and its variants such as the Omega Rex are also based off of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, but unlike its predecessors, the Geno line, the Fuhrers, and also Biotyranno, Death Rex is more or less based off of a scientifically accurate Tyrannosaurus Rex, which, unlike its predecessors, the Death Rex has a more fatter and more stockier body, whereas the Genos and the Fuhrers have a more lankier and more agile appearance. Except for they gave it 3 fingers instead of 2, but we're not going to be splitting hairs here, people. Now, moving on to the final one, which is the Xenorex from the Zoids Wild Senki line. Now, the Xenorex is kind of a weird one because due to its proportions, it doesn't really look like it's based off of the T-Rex, even though it's labeled as a T-Rex. But honestly, if you ask me, I think it looks more like a Dryptosaurus or a Eutyrannus than an actual Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, moving on from the Tyrannosaurus Rex, let's start off with this little guy. This is the Gorgo Launcher. And as the name sounds like, it is based off of the Gorgosaurs, which is a type of Tyrannosaur species that came from the Campanian era of the late Cretaceous period in what is known as Alberta, Canada. That's right, he's a dirty syrup drinker. And as we all know about Canadians from Edda and Eddie, Canadians are weird. Now, what's ironic about the Gorgo Launcher and the Gorgosaurus is that the Gorgosaurus is more known for its speed, whereas the Gorgo Launcher is essentially just a giant transforming artillery cannon. Last but definitely not least, we have the Deadboarder, which is based off of the Tyrannosaur species known as Tarbosaurus, also known as Tarbosaurus batar, from the Maastrichtian formation in Mongolia. Goddamn Mongolian! A Tyrannosaur species that lived literally around the same time as T-Rex, And it looks so similar to T-Rex itself that for a while people actually thought that Tarbosaurus was just T-Rex but in China. But nope, it turns out to be its own separate animal. And as far as I'm aware of, that is, I believe, all of the Tyrannosaur species in Zoids. If I left anything out, please let me know in the comments down below. And I hope you learned something about these magnificent animals. We'll see how this series goes. Maybe I will go over sauropods and Zoids, or maybe ceratopsians, because there's really not a whole lot, or hell, maybe even pterosaurs. We'll see how this goes. This has been Growl Brown, your T-Rex VTuber husbando, and I stream over on YouTube and Twitch, and you can also find me on my socials such as Blue Sky, Twitter, and now even my Oshi. Again, if I miss anything out, please let me know down in the comments down below. Until then, everybody, I'll catch you all later.